Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into this reading today. This is Sienna from Divine Black Feminine, and today I will be doing a reading on Venus retrograde. I've decided that I want to do a reading series with tarot on the retrogrades because there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of planets in retrograde. So the first planet that I will be reading about is Venus. Venus is going retrograde in Leo. I want to give you guys some guidance on that so that you guys can be prepared for what that's going to bring, okay? I feel like I've been getting a lot of messages about that this week with my own tarot. I've been doing tarot readings and goddess readings during my bleed, which happened this week on the new moon. I've just been doing a lot of witchy things this week after the new moon in Cancer. I felt like I wanted to give you guys some guidance so that you guys can figure out how you can navigate these retrogrades, okay? We'll start with Venus. Venus is in Leo right now. So Leo has a very dramatic energy. It likes to be in the spotlight, but it also has a very warm and loving energy as well. But because Venus is going in retrograde, the main word that came to mind when I was thinking about it was drama in relationships and friendships, okay? So things could get dramatic, okay? But the thing is, I feel like any drama that does come up is coming up so that we can heal things within ourselves. Any drama that comes up will be coming up so that we can look at ourselves in the mirror, so that we can look at our own shadows, okay? I've also been getting the vibe to work with smoky quartz. So I have a smoky quartz here. I actually ordered 2 more smoky quartzes because I really want to meditate with them, and I ordered some big ones that I found on sale on Etsy. But I'm just getting the vibe that it would be good to work with smoky quartz during the Venus retrograde so that you guys can stay grounded and so that you can really shine a light on those shadows that you need to integrate in your beings that, maybe causing some drama during Venus retrograde, because I'm getting the vibe that there could be a lot of shadow projection going on, and I feel like smoky quartz is the best crystal to work with shadow projection so that you can start integrating shadows into your being so that they're not affecting you subconsciously. Okay, try to work with smoky quartz over the next few months. I think Venus retrograde lasts, well, maybe not a few months, because I think it might last for 40 days. I have to clarify that. It's definitely 40 to 90 days for sure. Regardless, it would be good to work with smoky quartz over the next few months to help you with other retrogrades too. Okay, so let's pull some cards on what we need to know about Venus retrograde. What is the main message that we need to hear right now? Okay. All right, King of Wands reversed. Okay, so kings usually relate to masculine energy, but this can relate to somebody who is more feminine presenting or non-binary as well. Okay, but I'm getting the vibe that there are definitely going to be some control issues here, especially, related to people who have a lot of fire energy, okay? So if you're a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, okay, you might be feeling a lot of control issues come up during Venus retrograde, okay? You may be feeling upset that you are not in control of a certain situation romantically or in a friendship situation as well, okay? I'm hearing gaining control. I feel like Venus retrograde is going to maybe bring up situations where you feel like you should have more control than you do, okay, than you already do, and you want to gain more control, okay? And I feel like you might face some resistance with that because I feel like with this Leo energy in the air, it's going to be affecting everybody, okay? I feel like everybody is going to want to be in the spotlight, okay? And that's why Venus in Leo, I think, is bound to cause some drama. It's not drama we need to be afraid of, but we just need to be mindful of it, that multiple people in certain situations will want their voices to be heard. They're going to want to be in the spotlight. They're going to want to have control over situations. They're going to want to be, the person who wants to be right. Everybody is going to want to be right, okay, when Venus retrograde happens. So yeah, if you're having an argument with a friend or even, a romantic partner, just be mindful of that, you might want to be really right, and also your partner might want to be really right as well. Okay, so yeah, we need to be mindful about taking extra steps to make sure that we compromise with people, okay, to not become control freaks, okay, because yeah, the King of Wands is somebody who, when they don't get control over a situation, when there is a lot of I feel like chaos, or when people are trying to, I'm hearing rebel, when people are trying to rebel against them or go against them, they can get really angry, okay, and lash out in fiery ways, okay, in order to regain control, okay. So we want to be mindful of that, okay. So anger and rage, it's not a bad thing, they're human emotions, but just think about whether or not you really want to go to those places during Venus retrograde, okay, because going to a more anger-filled or rage-filled state, although it's great to release your emotions, if you're in that state constantly, that could really drain your energy, and it could put a burden on, your partner, or your friendships, or people that you share your space with, that you share your life with, okay? So just be mindful of that. Be mindful about your shadows, and your projections. If you're feeling rage and you're feeling anger, think about what's actually causing that anger and rage. What's the deeper meaning behind it? Is it related to your childhood? Is it related to past romantic connections? Think about what's causing that, because that'll really help you, be able to come to compromises with people if this type of angry energy comes up, okay? So yeah, we don't want to stay in these states for too long, okay, because they can definitely cause problems with people. And if you're a person who likes to have more peaceful energy, and if you don't want drama in your life, okay, then you need to make sure that yeah, you get to those states where you're able to compromise, okay? So yeah, that's just something to be mindful of, that people are definitely going to be in that more controlling King of Wands energy, and they're not going to really be in the light side of it all the time. I feel like the shadow side is going to come out more often during Venus retrograde, okay? So yeah, just be mindful of that. Be mindful of your own shadowy fire energy, so that, yeah, you don't, cause problems that you don't want to have, okay? Venus retrograde, it happens every year. It doesn't mean that people are going to break up or not be friends anymore. But yeah, it does, sometimes it can, like I said, cause some drama, especially because it's in the sign of Leo. But yeah, hopefully, with this knowledge now, you'll be able to take a step back, reflect on yourselves, and work through any issues that may come up around, feeling rage, anger, or feeling like you need to be in control of a situation. Okay, and the next card I pulled is 10 of Pentacles. Awesome. Okay, so if you are in a relationship and, issues come up around control, around anger, around, even trying to, because, the King of Wands is about managing people as well, maybe even trying to micromanage your partner, if, whether you realize it or not. Solving these issues is going to lead to greater commitment between you and your romantic partner, or between you and your friendships, okay? So the 10 of Pentacles is all about leaving a legacy, okay, when it comes to commitment, when it comes to creating things for the material world, okay? So any problems that you go through during Venus retrograde, if you effectively solve them, you're going to create a strong commitment with the people in your life, okay? So yeah, I see here that, although Venus retrograde might test you, in your romantic situations, it's going to help you build that strong foundation, with your partner or your romantic interest, so you can have a lasting long-term relationship that can lead to something greater, okay? So the 10 of Pentacles can relate to marriage, it can relate to engagement, it can relate to, moving in with a partner, in a more permanent state, okay? So yeah, the 10 of Pentacles is all about permanence, okay? Lasting permanence when it comes to laying foundations, okay? So yeah, if that's something that you really want in your romantic connections and your friendships, okay, it's really time to make sure that you reflect on yourselves during this Venus retrograde, okay? Because if you don't, then I feel like, yeah, it's less likely that you'll get here, okay? And I see that a lot of you want to get here. You want to get engaged to the people that you love, possibly. You want to get married to them. You want to have a long-term relationship with them that's very fulfilling and, very, committed and, something that lasts a long time, okay? So yeah, in order to do that, you need to make sure that you reflect on your control issues, okay? As well as your anger, okay? And, if you happen to micromanage your partner in certain situations, reflect on that as well, okay? It's going to be really important to ensure that, you have a long-lasting relationship or friendship with people, okay? Okay, so let's pull one more tarot card and then I'll get into the oracle cards. Okay, a bunch fell out. But I feel like when multiple cards fall out, I feel like it's not really a sign that we need to look at them. So yeah, I just put them back in here. Okay, so what else do we need to know? Okay, the Empress reversed. Okay, so I feel like this card represents the feminine aspect in this situation. So I feel like the King of Wands card represented the more masculine energy. So we all have masculine and feminine energy within us, regardless of gender, everybody has it, okay? So yeah, the feminine energy is an energy that is more embodied, it's more passive, it's more reflective, it's more intuitive, it's about receiving rather than doing, okay? So yeah, I feel like those who have a more maybe masculine energy, you might be struggling more with control issues during Venus retrograde, but those who have a more feminine energy, you might be struggling more with receiving, okay, this Venus retrograde, okay, with not believing that you can receive abundance, with not believing that you can have a long-term relationship, despite issues that might come up during Venus retrograde, okay? The Empress is a card that's about embodying abundance, okay? So yeah, if this is upright, we can see that the woman here, she has a glowing sun around her. This bird, this golden bird is coming to her and she looks very relaxed. She's on her throne. She has everything that she wants, okay? She's very content, very, very comfortable. This is a card also that is associated with Taurus, okay? Embodying sensuality, embodying comfort, okay? Feeling like you have all of the material wealth in the world, okay? All of the commitment in the world, okay, in terms of relationships. But when this is reversed, this tells me that you guys are in romantic situations where you can't see that, okay? Where you feel like your commitment is threatened, or you feel like your comfort is threatened in a relationship. This could even be related to friend groups as well, okay? If there's some issues going on in your friend groups and you feel like there's a lack of control, you may feel like, oh my God, like I'm going to lose everything, or I don't know, like these problems are never going to get solved. Like I'm not abundant, okay? I'm hearing I'm not abundant. Okay, I don't have enough. And that's not true. Just because we go through conflicts, just because we go through, times where we need to reassess things, doesn't mean that, we can't have abundance in our current romantic and friendship situations. Because I feel like this is talking about stuff that's very current, okay, that's already existing now, or that's going to exist over the next month or so, okay? It's not really talking about future things, okay? So yeah, I feel like you guys all need to stand strong, stand your ground, and yeah, believe that you can receive. Just because somebody has some fiery words, I'm hearing fiery words, like just because somebody has an argument with you doesn't mean that they don't love you, okay? I'm getting that energy, okay, for the feminine here, okay, for the person that embodies the more feminine energy in connections and friendships, okay? You can still work with that person, you can still love that person, and, the Empress is also very nurturing, okay? It has a very motherly energy as well, so, if someone has an issue with you or some type of concern, I feel like this is calling us to receive them with love, to really listen to what they have to say and to nurture them and to, compromise with them and to prioritize peace and, let them know that they're still loved even though they have this concern or issue, okay? So yeah, I feel like all of these things that are coming up right now are encouraging us to, prioritize good communication, and to also, I'm hearing soften into love, to encourage us to soften into love and to see people through the eyes of love, okay? That's going to be really important during Venus retrograde. Venus is a planet that's all about love, okay? It's associated with the goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love, okay? So yeah, we can always come back to love, despite conflict, despite, arguments, okay? Despite, the control issues that can arise in a relationship or a friendship, we can always come back to love and compromise, okay? So I feel like people definitely need to remember that. Okay, so now I'm going to pull an angel card about what else we need to know about Venus retrograde. Okay. Oceana. Okay, so I'll read this to you. It says, take action. You're in touch with your truth in this situation, and you need to trust your gut and lovingly assert yourself. Okay, so I feel like this is a message to that King of Wands energy. Okay, so yeah, think about your words, okay, because the King of Wands has a tendency to be very impulsive, especially when it's reversed, okay? So yeah, definitely think before you act, and we don't want to hold back our feelings. We don't want to repress anything. Like I said, having anger isn't bad. Having rage isn't bad. But we need to think about how our words might affect others, okay, at the same time, okay, so that, we're not taking on any energies that will drain us, okay? So yeah, think about how you can assert yourselves in the most loving way possible, because at the end of the day, the people in your friendship groups, even your family, your partners, your romantic interests, okay, they're people that you love, okay? So because of that, we need to think about how we can assert ourselves with love, rather than through a place of fear or through a place of feeling lack. That's what I'm feeling too, because I think, when we feel lack in relationships, when we're scared that we're going to lose something, we can, assert ourselves in ways that, may not be helpful to ourselves or even other people, okay? But at the end of the day, if you do have a concern that's been bubbling up, okay, because I sense that, yeah, like some people have definitely been repressing things recently, that they want to say to people, it's probably going to come out during Venus retrograde, okay? So just be mindful of that. Don't be afraid to assert yourselves. If you've been repressing something, now is the time to get it out, okay? So that, you know, it can be solved before Venus retrograde ends, before we go into the rest of the year, okay? You know, retrogrades are all about revisiting and reassessing things, okay? So yeah, it's time to reassess what you've repressed, okay? That's the vibe I'm getting here. So yeah, anything that you need to say, it's definitely time to say it. Okay, so let me pull a Dragon Fae card. Let's see what the Dragon Fae want to say. Okay. Ooh, I love this one. Okay, it says, Melusine, love who you are. Okay. I feel like this is for the more feminine energy here, okay? Because, you know, if someone has an issue with you, if your partner has an issue with you, you may feel a little down. You may feel like you're not enough. You may feel like, oh, you're not that badass bitch, okay? But you need to know that you are. I feel like this is such a badass bitch card, okay? You are beautiful. You are loving, okay? You are nurturing, okay? You are sexy, all right? So yeah, I feel like people need to hear that, because I feel like when problems come up, people might think like, oh, I'm not desirable, like, I don't know, I'm not deserving of commitment, like, or that, yeah, my relationship's not gonna last because I'm not, yeah, like I'm not good enough. And that's not true. You are good enough. Like I said, just because there are problems in relationships doesn't mean that you can't solve them, okay? You know, if you have to reassess something like your sex life, or because I'm feeling like that might be coming up as well. You know, if you need to have a conversation about that, if you need to have a conversation about bringing more passion into your love life, because, you know, Leo is all about passion. Like, have those conversations. Don't be scared of them, okay? Because if you have those conversations, they can really change things for the better. Okay, I feel like we're getting some really great advice here today, guys. This is awesome. Okay, so let's pull one last angel card, and then we'll wrap up the reading there. Okay, this says, Archangel Gabriel, shimmer with diamond light, express your creativity. Okay, so if you're a person who works with Archangel Gabriel, I would definitely work with him during Venus retrograde, okay, because I feel like this is related to the last card, where we really need to make sure that we express ourselves authentically and shine our creative lights, okay? In relationships, friendships, and even, you know, relationships that have to do with work, like co-working relationships. Because this says express your creativity, okay? So yeah, if you feel like you haven't been your creative self at work, like if you feel like there's like a creative idea that you want to express to others, this is the time to do it. If you've been repressing your creativity, it's time to repress it no more. Leo is also all about creativity as well, okay? So yeah, it's time to get creative, you know, in your sex life, you know, in your work life, okay? Even, you know, with your friends, if you want to do a creative project with them, you know, to spice things up in your friendship life, this is really the time, okay? It's really time to improve our connections for the better. And I think this Leo energy is really going to help with that, because it's really going to help us be our authentic selves, okay? And yeah, we don't need to be ashamed of that. The more authentic we are in relationships with others, I feel like the more those relationships are going to last for the long term, okay? So yeah, don't be afraid to be your authentic self, okay? All right, so this was a great message for Venus retrograde. If you would like any more guidance on Venus retrograde, you can book a personal reading with me on divineblackfeminine.com, and I will see you in the next retrograde reading. Bye everyone, thank you.